All right. So we have a special guest this week, a good friend of mine. I also like to say that. I always like to say that whether it's true or not. Tonya Wapskineh has agreed to come be a guest lecturer today. She has so much good stuff to share. And our topic, of course, Tonya, is Native American health and conditions. So I'm going to turn it over to you if you would introduce yourself and just roll. Okay. Thank you for being here. I really,
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
thank you for asking me. I love talking about native health and the thing where it began and then where we are now and how it's really progressing and not just within tribes, but within the nation overall. So I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and let me see. Oh, can you allow me to share?
Oh, I guess I have to allow it.
Yeah.
It's funny that we're recording this. Now I got to figure that out.
Do you want to start over?
No, this is fun.
Okay.
My students usually help me out when I do stuff.
Yeah, it's technology. It's wonderful.
Okay, try that.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
All right, so there's a lot of things popping up on my screen.
Yeah.
And all right, so can you see the whole, just like the presentation?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. All right, just wanted to make sure. So, Siona God, Tonya Wapskineh Dawadon. Hi, everyone. My name is Tonya Wapskineh. I am Cherokee, Prairie Band, Potawatomi, Creek, and Seminole. I've been in Native health for over 20 years. I have a background specifically in diabetes prevention programs and working in community health. And I received my master's of public health in 2004. I'm actually currently getting my doctorate in healthcare administration, so it's pretty exciting. I'm still learning, and you can never stop learning. So I'm
Right.
really happy to apply everything that my experiences as far as work and within the community and share that. But so I currently now I work as the director of the Native American Primary Care Center of Excellence, which is in the College of Osteopathic Medicine at Oklahoma State University. And that is within the Center of Health Sciences at OSU as well. So I'm based in Tahlequah at the new school that's there. And I also have an office in Tulsa. So that's where I'm at right now. All right. And let's just go ahead and proceed. So this is kind of my personal background. This is it's been a long 20 plus years of a lot of work and trying to find my direction. And it changed many times. I started school at Oklahoma State University in Stillwater. At that time, I wanted to go, I was in pre-med, and it just wasn't for me. It was one of those things where I knew I wanted to help. I knew I wanted to be in health. But as far as the courses and everything that it took, it was a lot. And not saying that I couldn't do it, it just the interest, it kind of faded a little bit. And I had to find another path. And that happens all the time. And it happens with a lot of students that I currently work with. So I started working at the OSU Sarah Teen Wellness Center, which is still there. At that time, I decided to go into health promotion sciences. And that was so much better for me because I really wanted to be on the prevention side of health disparities, diseases, illnesses, all that. I wanted to be on the prevention side of it rather being on the treatment side. And I love anybody that goes on the treatment side. You guys are superstars, and I'm really happy that I'm getting to speak to you today. While I was doing my coursework at OSU, I did an internship with Pawnee Nation in their diabetes program, and that's whenever the act through Congress came through to really um, focus on diabetes, because at that time diabetes was just taking over Native Americans. There was a lot of amputations happening, and natives were just really sick and not really knowing the cause or what was going on. And it really had to do with, colonization and Western way of our eating that we really weren't adapted to at that time. So it started showing up more rapidly within our tribal nations. Upon graduating OSU, I went and worked with the Association of American Indian Physicians, which is in Oklahoma City, and it's a great group that I worked for and was specifically on a diabetes um, program under the CDC, so the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The goal was to spread that message of diabetes, that it is manageable, because at that time, everybody thought as soon as they got diabetes that it was a fatality. Like, oh, I'm gonna get it. I don't know I'm gonna get it, but when I get it, then, I'm gonna die. It was very negative light on diabetes, because it did take a lot of people away. And so with working with CDC, I was able to kind of share the message of hope, share the message of preventing chronic ill or complications due to diabetes. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that. That's when I decided to go for my master's, because I thought, there's more that I want to do. And after completing that, then I started working with Cherokee Nation. I was with Cherokee Nation for almost 17 years, and managing a diabetes prevention program, and working with the communities in the Cherokee Nation jurisdiction. So there's like 14 counties, kind of takes up Northeast Oklahoma, but it was a great time. I miss it dearly. And I was working through a grant with the Indian Health Service that was for diabetes prevention. And we were able to report to Congress that diabetes was being able, by following the classes and following the steps of moving more and choosing, foods that are better for you, and just having moderation, and teaching small steps, then we were able to prove to Congress that it was working in our tribal nations. And so it was very exciting. And it's basically the SDPI diabetes prevention program. So if you're ever interested in that, there's a lot of information there. There's a DPE toolkit that we worked on. And so if you're interested in that, feel free to visit their website. And now I'm with OSU Medicine. So my primary job here is to recruit and retain Native students into medicine, and also recruit and retain Native faculty. One of the things that we've seen is, finding Native faculty to teach medical students. It's difficult, because I want to say it's 0.04% of all the native, or of all the physicians in the United States, that 0.04% is natives. So less than 1%. So you can see where there's a need there. And so, like me and my colleagues, I work under Dr. Kent Smith, and that's one of his goals. And we're on board. We're trying to, really create these great pathway programs, these internships to help provide information to students that are interested in medicine, because you can do it. And I feel like if I had this program supporting me, then I think I probably could have made it into med school.
Do you have
So
any indication of why that is the case, that 0.04% of physicians are Native American?
I think it's because of from this is just based off of, I mean, it's not research, but this is based off of, what I've seen and what I've heard and talking to students is they never thought that they could see themselves in that position. They think they were smart enough or that they could excel to that. And it is changing. So I think, and as me as a pre-med student, I just felt like I didn't come from a good enough school and, you know, the community was different. The students I was in classes with, it was different. So not having other natives among me, it's like you're just kind of powering through as this lone native in
Yeah.
a school or in a pathway where you feel like you're alone. And so that's why it's really important for our program here with OSU Medicine is to really create a community for the native students that are here. So yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next slide. So I kind of wanted to just talk about these 6 things. Like I said, I kind of gave you a lot of information already on the Center of Excellence that I work for, but I'm just going to go over Native American health overview, conditions and disparities, programs and initiatives that are happening. I'm going to talk about the College of Osteopathic Medicine, School of Medicine, that's affiliated with Cherokee Nation, and then go into AIMS and then back to my program. And I'm sharing a picture of my son. Please don't tell anybody, he will kill me. But
Great.
I mean, we really are working for our future generations and trying to make the best world for our future Native patients. And of course, and I always look at it, it's funny because like my director and I, we want natives to take care of us. We want to find those natives, bring them through and then be like, oh, hi, do you remember? Like, I need your assistance because to be seen by a native physician, it's very rare. And that's one thing that, we're all working for, even with, Cherokee Nation, having this tribal affiliated school. That's the goal, is to really have natives come through and become physicians and then come back to the tribe and work. Because there's just a community there, there's an understanding there. And you'll kind of see why in my next slides. So Native American health overview. So a lot of people see natives as, oh, they get free healthcare, they get free money for school, they get free this, they get free that. And that's not necessarily the case. There's a cost that was attached to it. Colonization, westward expansion, having our lands taken away, being forced to move from our homelands into places that we didn't know how to live. And then, not having our traditional food systems. And then, going through the whole treaty process and broken treaties and, being promised protection because if the tribe gave up their land, then the government said, okay, we promise you education, we promise you healthcare. And so all these promises, um, they did happen, but at the degree that they happened, it wasn't necessarily the things that natives were needing or wanting. So in 1955, after all these different things that happened throughout history, the Indian Health Service was established. And one of the things that I've been looking at through some research is that one of the beginning practices in Indian Health Service was the sterilization of women. And it's documented that um, at least, I mean, the earliest account that I seen was like for 15-year-olds. So some that were not even at, like childbearing age going through sterilization. And that was something that I just did regularly. And so it's just really looking at the things, was IHS really there for us? Was the government really there for us, for them to, you know, make these promises? So, and then kind of expanding on that, just the result of all this, you know, it was traumatic. It was traumatic to natives everywhere. There was a dependency on a system that we didn't know. You know, we had to rely on them for food. We had to rely on them for just about everything, because a lot of natives were moved and didn't know, you know, what was going on. And, you know, it was just a very oppressed system. There was a loss of traditional food supplies. So with food supplies comes medicine as well. We have traditional plants that take care of things that we need, and uprooting from an area where we knew where to find our medicines and where they were, um, in the homeland, basically, and then having to go somewhere else. It was just like having to find uh, those medicines, or medicines that would help. There was famine, military pressure. Of course, I think everybody knows about smallpox. There was huge devastation, and there was total loss for Native Americans, all over the country. So it was just a really um, tragic time in history. And then, things that just from all that happened, um, so there was, you know, social factors that happened, and they're still apparent, today. There are programs in place. People are starting to kind of wake up and realize, okay, this is based on generational trauma. This is based on, for instance, my grandparents, they were put into a mission school. And so it's kind of like a boarding school, but it's a mission school. And they would get in trouble for speaking their language. They were forced to cut their hair and look like however the missionaries wanted them to look. We weren't, or they weren't able to practice their traditional um, beliefs, cultures, language, everything. It was taken away. And so having that disconnect was really a disconnect in health. And it has been proven too that when you now, with natives coming back to their culture and coming back to their language, then there is a benefit in health. It's like it's related. The more you learn, the more the better your health is getting. So there's a really strong presence within Native culture, that where we take care of ourselves and take care of our mind and our body and spirit. And so that's why I love being here with the College of Osteopathic Medicine, because osteopathic medicine focuses on the mind, body, and spirit. So I think I covered everything on here, but yeah, we weren't able to do our practices and ceremonies, so they were lost. And you know, we were able to bring it back, and it's maybe like, I can't remember, like last 40 years, I think. So people are learning, people are really trying to share information to bring our nations back to what they used to be. So I have a little video, and I think I have time to play it. I'm watching the clock, but I wanted to go ahead and show this because it gives a little more information than what I can.
As the United States expanded between the 17th and 19th century, indigenous people were forced off lands they had inhabited for thousands of years. European settlers took land to establish farms. U.S. laws, such as the Dawes Act, stripped an estimated 364,000 square kilometers of tribal land. Many historians, anthropologists, and tribes have documented the trauma and impact of this forced relocation. To build on this body of work, researchers set out to quantify this land dispossession on a large scale and analyze its effects. The researchers used many different sources to map native land prior to the 19th century. A key one included a collection of maps published by the US government, which showed ceded tribal land up until the late 1800s. They also explored data created by tribal sources. The researchers found that over 54 million square kilometers of land were held by Native people. This is almost surely an underestimate. Gaps in the data don't mean Indigenous people didn't reside on those lands. Today, tribes have far less recognized land, an almost 99% reduction to what they occupied before the 19th century, including shared land practices between tribes. For many Indigenous people, dispossession was complete. 43% of tribes don't have any federal or state recognized land base. One challenge to this study was matching the names of historical and present-day tribes. Many nations today represent more than one group of people. The researchers found that forced migration moved several tribes far from their historical land. For example, the Modoc people originally lived in the Klamath Basin. Now their reservation is in Oklahoma, 2,565 kilometers away. After creating these two data sets, the researchers explored how various attributes of present-day reservations compare to those of historical native land. Indigenous communities hold spiritual and cultural connections to land that cannot be quantified. But the researchers focused on factors they could measure, one being access to natural resources. Using US energy data sets, they found that Indigenous lands today are 24% less likely to sit over oil and gas reserves. This took away the opportunity for some Native people to profit in the extractive economy the United States established, although many tribes resist oil and gas producing wells on their land. The researchers also evaluated whether currently recognized land was more vulnerable to climate change, using 4 different criteria: extreme heat, long-term drought severity, annual precipitation, and the potential for wildfires. Today, about half of present-day tribal lands had an increase in days above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Although historical and current Indigenous land show a similar risk for wildfires, several tribes face a significant risk today. Precipitation declined in present-day land, and there was some evidence of a greater risk for drought severity, particularly in the Oklahoma Tribal Statistical Area. The climate crisis has already impacted many tribes. Yupik villages in Alaska are grappling with sea level rise and sinking buildings, while the Navajo Nation struggles with a dwindling water supply. This study shows that these accounts are not isolated experiences. Many Native communities are more vulnerable to climate change. The researchers hope this study will help inform future policies that will heal these inequities.
It's a powerful video.
Yeah, it kind of just sums everything up. So I like to share that. So yeah, I mean, as far as the climate change, it is affecting everyone, but on reservations, there's already a struggle just to live. So having climate issues and having, water sources, it's really devastating, and it's actually hitting really close to home. So for instance, my allotted land, or my mom's allotted land, is in Adair County in a community called Rocky Mountain. And it's about 30 minutes away from Tahlequah, but they recently went through a situation where they didn't have fresh water. And so, people were taking water out to them and distributing it, among the community. So just to hear that and see it and know that my family members are being affected by it, it's really close and it's scary. So I feel like people are trying to really address it and come through and really pull together. I feel like the community is more, has more of a belonging and togetherness than before. And, you know, hopefully things will turn over for the best. So, we'll see how that goes, but it's just something to consider. So moving forward with Native Health. So IHS, when they came about, the systems weren't that great. So like, for instance, you know, about sterilization, just the overall quality of care wasn't optimal for Native people. Even through my personal experiences, it was something I was really scared to go to and as an adult. And as soon as I got my insurance card, I didn't go to IHS facilities. That was like the last resort. And I wanted to go to non-native facilities. Um, because even in our IHS system, you know, we weren't being taken care of by native physicians. It wasn't run by native people either. So now it's different. Now, you know, there's actually native people that are over IHS. The director is native and, you know, visits all the facilities and has really good responsibility on making sure things are happening for natives and with natives in mind. So this is kind of what it looks like, and I'm going to be talking from the Oklahoma standpoint just because that's where we're at. So IHS, what they decided to do was kind of really go into like a 3-tier system to take care of Native people. So there's Indian Health Service hospitals and clinics. There's the Urban Indian Health Services, and then the Tribal Health Services. And through the map, you can kind of see where the IHS facilities are, and our area headquarters actually in Oklahoma City. And so I'll be kind of breaking those 3 down. So Urban Native Health Services here in Oklahoma, we have the Tulsa Indian Healthcare Resource Center, and then in Oklahoma City is the Oklahoma City Indian Clinic. There's also urban programs and initiatives. Sorry, my light goes. If I don't, if I don't move, my light turns off. Sorry about that. And there's grant operated community programs. So there's a lot of funding that is available for populations, minority populations. And so a lot of people will write for those, and within community organizations in the urban areas to address health disparities or just overall wellness. And then tribal health services. So this is something that IHS and some of the tribes have kind of like joined together and, you know, have a compact to where IHS is still funding the tribe, but the tribe actually has ownership of the operation of it. So for instance, Cherokee Nation, they have within the jurisdiction, we have the Hastings Hospital, and that's Cherokee owned. We also have the Claremore Indian Clinic or Indian Hospital, and that's IHS owned and operated. So it's just how it falls into line is kind of depending on the tribe and IHS and the agreements that they have. So within the tribal health services, these are the things that I've seen as far as departments that they have. They have things like behavioral health, cancer prevention, diabetes prevention, public health nursing. With IHS, there's the community health representatives. So they're more of the kind of lay workers that just help people get to their appointments or provide, you know, services in just general wellness. So that's just kind of an example of the tribal services that may be out there. And it depends how large the tribe is. So for a large tribe like Cherokee Nation, there are a lot of things that we can do because we have a bigger population. For smaller tribes, um, maybe because due to their size or their facility, then they may not offer all these things. But there are ways to find this within the Indian Health Service, and so I things are growing. These things are being offered, so it's good to see that's happening throughout Oklahoma and for 39 tribes that reside here. So these are other health programs, and this is not direct patient care. So for instance, universities have Native health focus programs. For instance, the one that I work for, there's programs that are doing research, they're doing training, so they're training CHRs, the community health workers, and then representatives, sorry. And there's funding to increase the workforce. Association of American Indian Physicians. They're a place as well that provides health information. Southern Plains Tribal Health Board, same thing. They're a great resource and provide, they basically, these organizations write for grants and then, receive the money and then have these really great programs to help natives or help providers into provide more education or more opportunities to serve or to learn. And then there's the National Indian Women's Health Resource Center, and that's actually in Tahlequah. There's an Oklahoma Area Tribal Epidemiology Center. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, they have a Native outreach program within their organization. And there's other Native-led not-for-profit organizations that also provide health information. So as far as disparities, this is from the 2010 census data. And as you can see that the top one that really affects natives is is heart disease. And then it goes into cancer, and then accidents is third leading cause, which is not disease related. And then the fourth one is diabetes. And so I kind of really just focused on those four topics to talk about because they're the ones that affect native mortality the most. And those are the things that are focused within native health. So talking about heart disease, so natives have 2 to 4 times the risk of heart disease than non-natives. And with case management, it shows that it improves the CVD risk factors. So as long as patients are going and seeing their doctors, being screened, doing their testing, then they are able to improve those, improve the health and the outcomes. So as far as reducing blood pressure, that's a huge one, and it's fixable. A lot of clinics do give out like blood pressure cuffs, so you can manage your blood pressure. Excuse me. Reducing cholesterol, glycemic control, smoking cessation, physical activity, and weight management. So those are the things that a lot of the tribal health programs that I've seen really try to work to within their public health departments. And then going on to the cancer part, so the death rates are for gallbladder, stomach, liver, and kidney cancers that are elevated in Native population. They kind of give some examples of incidence rates from Southwest region, so that's kind of like Arizona, and then to the Southern Plains. So it's higher here in Oklahoma than it is in kind of the remote areas in the Southwest region of the United States. Also, natives also had the highest prevalence of tobacco use of any population in the US. So I'm pretty sure that is a strong correlation as to why that's the second leading cause of death. Moving on, accidents, for natives, there's a 2.4 times higher risk than, non-natives. Um, most of them are like due to motor vehicle crashes, poisoning and falls, and males are more effective. And injury prevention is something that is being done. I don't really see a um, huge, what do you call it? Like it just campaign throughout like tribal nations that focus on injury prevention. I know it's there. I know it exists. I've seen emails, I've seen information. And so, but as far as that part of it, it exists. And I think, that's growing to try to reduce those risks. And then the fourth reason for mortality is diabetes. So as far as rates for natives, it's 2.5 to 3.5 higher than non-natives. And when looking at the cancer data for the southwest region of the United States, diabetes is actually higher in that area than it is in Oklahoma. And I'm not exactly sure. That's something to look into definitely. But yeah, there's a high risk for Native Americans to have that diagnosis and also to have diabetes related complications. And it has declining trends because of the Congress, them stepping in, there being more funding for diabetes programs, especially diabetes prevention programs. So it is showing promising effects on our tribal nations. So it's really it's great that that is in motion. But the thing to really tackle this is to control your glucose, so your blood sugar, and prevent diabetes. And the way, that we taught using the CDC curriculum infused with the IHS curriculum is, 150 minutes of activity a week, and to really look at your fat gram goals. Healthy fats are great, but looking at the saturated fats within your diet, and then also making sure you're getting your protein in, and just choosing those like the lean meats, not fried foods, the basic things that you would eat. And it's not a special diet or anything. It's just having that moderation. And we don't even like, I wouldn't tell our patients, like, you can never have your favorite dessert ever again. Do you have to have it every day? No. Do you have to have every week? No. But I mean, you can find a way to have it in moderation to where, because I don't want people to stay away from it, because then their behavior change, it's not going to go the way that you want it to progress, because they really want their dessert. So do I?
Me too.
Right. Yeah. I'm like,
I
I'm
have a
not gonna
question.
eat. Yes.
You mentioned commodities earlier, and tell me if I'm wrong. I noticed that commodities over the years have become so much more healthy. And so
Mhm.
the Cherokee Nation, for example, have done an amazing job of reforming commodities and making them more healthy, especially for people with diabetes.
Yeah. So Um, me, and I should have posted a picture. There's a picture at my grandma's house, and I'm sitting there with a can of, I think it was like grape juice, but it's like a can, it's like got a white label on it and just says like juice or something like that. And there's stacks of other cans with vegetables, and then there would be like a block of commodity cheese. And I know it's a running joke among Native people because it's like
Famous.
it's like the best cheese ever, but it's so bad for you. And then we would have like this big can of meat. There's just like a meat log that was in like a can. Absolutely disgusting. We would get cereal, so like dry cereal, almost kind of like oh, what is it? not rice chucks, but like frosted flakes, but without the frost. I don't even know what that is.
Just flakes.
Flakes. Yeah, it'd be like flakes. And I think
Yeah.
there was another one I can't remember. And then powdered eggs.
Mhm.
And you know how
Remember those.
wonderful those are.
I remember I married into this, so that's how I became
Okay.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember all that.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at things that, and this is one of the things I think why natives have a higher rate of diabetes, because these are foods that were not meant for our DNA. I mean, this is not the way that we're meant to eat. Because, you know, long ago, my ancestors, they were going through feast and famine, basically. So, you know, they would go hunting, live off of, you know, those hunting raids, and then, you know, travel or kind of just like go through periods of not eating, but storing food and just having a little bit to eat. And especially, you know, during different seasons. So um I think natives in general, when given a lot of food and given foods that are part of our diet, then things are going to happen. And I think that's why there's, you know, a high rate of obesity, which you know, is a reason for diabetes and heart disease. So it's still there. However, Cherokee Nation and other programs have really revamped their commodity um, foods. It kind of looks like a grocery store now. It's
That's
wonderful.
exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like fresh fruits. You just walk around with your grocery basket and pick the foods that you want, and you're able to get things that are really healthy, and they're not um, all in syrup, like fructose
Yeah.
syrup, or in, you know, covered in fat. Like they're able to find things that are fresh. And one of the things that I really like is the bison that is provided. Because it's a lean meat, it's something that, you know, is good for natives as far as choosing their meats, because some of them, you know, they can relate it back to um, their culture and traditions. Cherokees, you know, I've been kind of looking at some data as well. I don't think buffalo was really our food, because, you know, we come from the southeast part of the United States. And at the time, I think it was like an adaptation from moving to the plains area, kind of. So I think it was there, but it's really good. So I'm not mad at it. Yeah. So but I love that the commodity program has really changed, and people are starting to eat good food. And you know, my family is being taken care of, and I'm happy when they share.
And that happened when the Cherokee Nation and other tribes took control of it. And
Mhm.
yeah, there was a big change when they had more control over
Yes,
their own destiny. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, because things were people were starting to realize that our health was conditioned upon our food. So right now there's another movement of uh, addressing food sovereignty, looking at our traditional foods and growing them. Like tribes are um, having like their own meat production places, and then like even having gardens and things to bring our traditional foods and medicines back. And I think this really happened. I mean, it was kind of a trend that was happening, but I think it really hit home during the pandemic, because we were buying food from people all over the world so then we could eat. And so our tribal members could get fed. And if we had our own resource and we had our own foods, it's better for our health anyways, and it provides the needs that we what do you call it? are more accustomed to, I guess. Yeah. And so, but the pandemic really did kind of show that, wow, if anything was to happen again, we really need to figure something out within our tribe so then we can take care of ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm really happy that that's happening. So now I'm going to move forward, just talking about OSU and how we're trying to create a pathway program to recruit natives into medicine or health professions. It's really exciting what OSU COM is doing, and especially with the inception of working with tribes, and especially throughout like research and just programming and rotation sites for our student medical doctors. And so what they're doing, it's pretty amazing, and it's just growing every year, new sites that are coming on to really get our tribal students into a tribal facility to learn. And these are just pictures on this. I don't know if my cursor is working. That's my son on the left, and he's doing it at Laddle. So we really, I focus on traditional games, and it's a way of movement, and the way that I, taught my sons, to be active. And it doesn't have to be you're in the gym, because doing things like this is really, it, it's very physically active as far as having to really handle the game or what you're doing, and it's kind of weaponry, so it's a lot of fun. And then my nephew on the right is really as part of the leadership program, and I like to show them because this is the goal, and this is where we're trying to work towards, and that's why I've been in my field for so long, and I know that other Native health providers, that's their goal too, is to think about the future generation, the generation after that. So this is what the college looks like. This is the first inaugural class, and we are actually, oh my goodness, we're graduating the first class that came, through the OSU COM at Cherokee Nation this May. So we're super excited about that. And I want to say like 8 natives are graduating, and they're from various tribes. No, actually, there's more than that. I think 8 are Cherokee Nation, and then there's other tribes. Like we have one that's from New Mexico. We have some Choctaws. So it's really exciting of this historic event. For this to happen, it's pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I'm really excited for people to for them to go and have this knowledge and have that experience of tribal health and learning that. And I have another little video. Are we like pressed for time?
No, you can have all the time you wanted.
Okay.
Thanks for
All
coming.
right.
I'm good.
I told you I can like talk forever. So this is a student doctor, well, actually not student anymore. This is Dr. Brandon Postoke, and he really speaks to his experience and the things that he's learned here at OSU COM.
For most of my young adult life or childhood, I wasted a lot of talent. And one day it just kind of clicked that I was wasting talent, and I wanted to use that fully. And so I started chasing the higher education, and I really didn't know that I wanted to go to medical school. I just knew that I needed to do something different than what I was doing. And I started doing science and started doing biology and started doing chemistry, and kind of really enjoyed it. I really didn't see any native physicians that looked like me or were from my tribe. I really didn't have a person to look up to. And it wasn't until my senior year of undergraduate that someone was like, "Hey, why don't you try medicine?" And I kind of talked to a few individuals, and that's where I met Dr. Smith. And he was kind of telling me about some of the stuff he was doing for Native Americans and recruitment for STEM awareness. And instantaneous, I was like, that's what I want to do. I'm very blessed to be where I am and pursue and have the support and have OSU as a foundation to get me where I am today. There's many times that you know, I wanted to give up. You know, I would see my friends going out on weekends and having a good time, or I would see people getting to hang out with their family and their kids, and um, you know, I was kind of jealous of that at the time. You know, at the same time, I knew I was fulfilling something deeper that was, you know, more important than just what I was doing, but that could be more important to my community. You know, I also have a family. I have two sons, and I have a community that I feel are kind of looking to me to help set that example that I didn't have. You know, and for me, I always think about that young kid that might want to do something, that has the talent, doesn't have anyone to look up to. For me, I just kind of keep replaying that and thinking of, how can I help that kid? You know, can I be an inspiration? And if so, I need to keep working, because I'm not where I need to be. Granted, I'm better, but if I really want to help my community and help these young kids, I've got to keep pushing. And so the motivation really just comes from wanting to be better, want to be a mentor to my children, as well as the other youth, kind of around the Native community.
So Dr. Postoke, he is great. He came through a lot of our pathway programs. And for anybody, you know, that's in health professions, it's really good to go and do those summer internships and gain experience. And for instance, with Dr. Postoke, he came through our Native Explorers program, and it wasn't really just medicine, it was mainly, you know, science. And, you know, he was among colleagues. And I think having those colleagues and people that you can bond with and you're interested in the same things, it does help with your schooling. And it also helps, you know, like, you know, have that connection, have that community. And so, you know, find your people and find your inspiration, and learn from each other. And I think that's the things that have happened here at OSU Com. And, you know, it's kind of like a little family. And you know, just having that at all schools everywhere and for, you know, all races, I think it's needed. So we're very proud of Dr. Postoke for going through this program. He was one of our AIMS ambassadors, and that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about now, but just leading in that capacity. And right now he's in a residency program at Southwest Integris. And so we're really excited that he's gone through that program and he's working hard. So, so this is the Office of American Indians in Medicine and Science. It is housed at OSU Center for Health Sciences in Tulsa. And it's really about just improving tribal healthcare, you know, like finding those clinic sites for natives to go into um, Native facilities and learn from, you know, see the patients and really see what tribal health looks like. And then they also provide opportunities and support to the Native students that are here on campus, and then also tribal education opportunities. So within OSU COM, we have a summer tribal externship. So first year medical students, when they finish, they have the opportunity to go into the clinic or tribal facility for, you know, 2 weeks. And it's a paid externship. Of course, every student likes to get paid. So they really enjoy that. And then we also have a tribal medical track. And this is a track that the medical students can pick to go on. And when they go, so first 2 years of medical school is basically in the classroom. You know, you're really studying, getting those exams, doing everything to learn. The third and fourth year is applying it through your rotations. So with the tribal medical track, their rotations are set up to where they're going to a tribal facility, and then they may be in a non-native facility, but it's like they're still getting that experience for 2 years. So that's really exciting that OSU Com does that. And also with that partnership with Cherokee Nation, there's a lot of and the school being on Cherokee Nation Reservation and right next to Hastings Hospital, there's a lot of opportunities that are there. And then with my work, so I'm funded through HRSA, and we provide scholarships and stipends and resources for natives and even those that are interested in health professions. So during the summer, we have an internship, and it's either, 6 to 8 weeks, but it's here on the Tulsa campus, and we're actually going to have one starting up on the Tahlequah campus. So anybody that's interested in health professions, it doesn't matter if you're an OSU student or not, but if you're just interested in learning about, anatomy or just what does health look like? What does clinic look like? Visiting clinics, tribal clinics. We had that internship for students. The deadline has passed. It's usually the deadline's usually February 1st. So we try to get out all the information that we can and then find those students. And the thing is, you have to be over the age of 18. And then we do have a preference for Native Americans to be in that program. And like, just for instance, the tribal medical track, it's not just for natives, it's open to everybody. And then also with the internships, they're open as well. We do the pathway programs. We work with some departments here at OSU COM to work with our high school, middle-aged students to get them interested in medicine and health professions. Because here at OSU, we also have a PA program and a athletic training program that's top notch. And then forensics and there's another one I can't remember right now, but there's other things that are here at the school. And we also work to build partnerships with our Oklahoma tribes because and we do have a lot of support, and that's really nice that we can talk to our lead tribal people, like as far as in health, and they help us kind of give us feedback on what we're doing and things that we can be doing and giving us ideas. So it's kind of not that we're just here doing whatever we want. We really get the feedback from students on what they want, and then also from our tribes. So that's a very important part in providing health and really tackling the workforce. So to provide more natives in there is to really find the best possible way to do that. So in closing, I just want to thank everybody for your time. Here's my email address if you want to message me. And I hope you learned a little bit about Native health. There's a lot of information out there as far as the history of how IHS came about. I didn't want to go into too many details. It's kind of sad. So I just kind of, I just kind of like push forward through it, but it's really important for people to know, especially in Oklahoma, and because it is full, there are a lot of natives in Oklahoma, and if you're going to be a provider, even if you're in an urban setting or a rural setting, you will be treating a native person. So thank you. I'm very honored to be able to speak to you today. So, Wadom, and
Thank
do you
you
have
so
a
much,
question?
Tonya. Thank you. I wanted to ask you one question. Would you just briefly tell us about the conference you're attending this week? And then we'll
Yeah, so it's the Southern Plains. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to look it up because but it's through the Southern Plains tribal intertribal, I just said it, health board, but it's called the Tribal Public Health Conference. They do it every year. The goal was connecting communities to create change. They have in their agenda, there's research in there, there's information like on right now there was a big increase in gender, you know, like as far as looking at the different ways to treat patients and, you know, knowing and being sensitive to what the patient may see themselves as far as gender, and you know, just showing that acceptance and working with those patients. Also, substance abuse, vaping was a huge thing that was talked about. I'm trying to think what else. Bringing culture and traditions into health. That was mainly the ones that I kind of went to, and just a lot of information and from a lot of different tribes and throughout Indian country. So next year, they're gonna be doing it again. It's usually in April, and again, that's through the Southern Plains, Intertribal Health Board, and they're located in Oklahoma City, but they have a mailing list that you can join. So if you go to their website, you can find that.
It's awesome. Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
I'm going to end this recording, then we can say goodbye. But thank you, Tonya, for being here today, and being our guest lecturer for, it's actually next week's topic. So thank you so much.
Thank you.